Hibiscus was my mom's favorite flower, so I'm making this resin bowl and a set of coasters in her memory. So I'm going to be working over on my main work table. Once I pour the resin in the mold, I'm going to put it over here on my leveling table and it's going to level out. And this is where I'm going to let it cure because I have a ton of other projects to do today. I don't want to leave it on my work surface and then move the whole leveling table and then have to recalibrate it and all that stuff. So I'm going to calibrate it here and then work on, my little board, and my mold is going to be on here, and then I can just move everything over. So that's what I'm going to do. And so that's what's nice about having a leveling table is that you can move it wherever you want. And I trust the bubble, but I'm just double checking it. Perfect. I did have somebody request that I make a matching bowl and a matching set of coasters. I did the hibiscus flower when I did the Bond Crafter giveaway, and I sold that bowl, the hibiscus flower bowl, almost immediately after posting it. Actually, I sold it to a friend, but and I had somebody else ask for it. So that's what I'm going to do today. And all I'm doing now is just getting rid of all of the debris in here in my molds. I don't want to use any alcohol. Probably going to need to get some new molds. I want to make a matching set because this comes as a set on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. It comes with, let's see, it comes with 5 coasters, but I'm only going to make 4. That's kind of a normal set there. That one's clean. We got this one. Okay. And I hear my fan, my air purifier fan kicking on. I haven't even started anything. So it's cleaning the air. So this mold, if I filled it all the way to the top, holds about 500 milliliters. And each one of these is 100 not 100, 50 milliliters. Yeah, so I'm going to mix 400 milliliters in my Let's Resin mixer cup. And then I'll use my mini mixer to mix this, and then I'll mix another batch by hand. Get your gloves on. Get your gloves on. Alrighty. Okay, I've got 1 cup mixed by hand, and then I've got 1 cup mixed in my mixer. I just want to make sure I get all the resin off. And then I'm just going to run my stick in my cup, scrape the edges, just like you would if you're making muffins. You want to make sure everything is mixed up. Okay, a lemon yellow, which is really, really pale, an emerald green for the middle, and I really didn't care too much for the peachy red. It was just too pink for me. I have no idea what color that is. I can't read the name. Let's use the green instead of emerald green. Where's that orange? Here it is, orange. And, maybe a little bit of, I'm going to use a little bit of this peach red. So the lemon yellow, the orange, the peach red, just a little bit. And then the green for the middle, not the yellow green. I'm going to shake these up with the caps on so I don't have an accident again. And I got to watch my resin in my cups because I don't want to get a flash cure. All right, so let's make sure this one is not opened. Not used this green before. I know the lemon yellow is open. It is really pale. Move these over here. The orange is opened, and then the peach red is opened. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pour in pretty much this whole thing. Getting nice and thick already. I think we're going to might have a flash if we're not careful. That is the problem with mixing so much resin up at one time, is that it's not meant to be in such of a deep pour, and if you don't get rid of it quick, you could have a flash cure. So I'm just going to dump this upside down here. Let's get this evened out. Might need a little bit more in here. Remember, when I'm doing a bloom bowl, when I'm doing a resin bowl like this, you don't want it to be really thick, because then you might have trouble getting it to form a good bowl and to bend. I think 400 is going to be plenty in here. I'm not going to put any more in here, I don't think. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour my coasters too, and I can clean my cup out later. I'm not making these into bowls. I am going to make these into coasters. I think I might have overfilled this one a little bit too much. There we go. That's better. Okay, we got plenty left over for the white. I'm going to pour a little bit more in here, just a tad. Okay. Now I am going to go ahead and mix up some white in this cup since we already have resin in it. And that's going to give us our blooms. So this is about 100 milliliters of white. And I think that's going to be plenty. And then I have another 100 milliliters left over in here, so I could make something else if I wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and get my alcohol inks in here. So the middle is going to be the green. Now, these have already been shaped. I've already shook these up. And then really just trying to sort of mimic the colors in a hibiscus. It's oranges, at least mine, the one that's outside of my studio, is kind of a mix between orange and yellow, and there's some pink in there. And so this is going to be really, really, really random. And I think the more random you are, honestly, that's what's going to give you a more natural look and a more natural result, because, the things in nature aren't exact, are they? This yellow is really pale, but when it mixes with the orange, it's giving a really cool, and this helps to get rid of the bubbles too. So not really as much pink as I did last time, because I felt like it was just too much pink, but we still want that touch of pink. Well, that yellow really, really is so pale. Not even showing up. All right, I'm going to blend these. I didn't blend it last time, and I feel like I should have. I'm just going to use a chopstick. All right, in this cup, I don't know if you can really see it, but in this cup, I'm going to put my resin pigment, and I'm going to use the Let's Resin Ocean White. And this is just a liquid resin pigment. I don't want very much. I want it to be kind of a light, um, I don't want to put very much in because I don't want it to be heavy and sink right away. So for this amount of resin, I'm going to put 4 drops, and I can always see if that's too much, if it's not enough. Well, if it's too much, I guess we're screwed, but if it's not enough, I can always put more in. I think this is going to be fine. I'm going to let my white thicken up for about 40 minutes. I don't have a way to take a temperature, so I am going to let it thicken for 40 minutes, and then that way my white is not going to sink immediately into my resin and we don't get a bloom. So we're just going to have to come back in about an hour and trust the process. Okay, so it's been about 40 minutes. My resin is thick. It is getting warm. So I'm going to go ahead and get my petals going. I'm not going to use a piping bag. I'm just going to use this cup. It's probably going to be more white than I need. So we'll just go with that. So I've just got my white resin in a cup, and I'm going to go ahead and draw the petals on because it's really getting warm and I don't want to lose. Maybe not. And then double it up. And I think these I will do something like this. Put a little bit more white. around the edge. Okay, let's see what that does. So let's draw the petals in. That's going to be pretty. Oh, you can't even see that one. Oh, that's going to be gorgeous. I've overfilled a little bit. I think I'm going to do that here too. Well, that's a big hair. I'm glad I got that out. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That may be a huge mistake, but maybe not. We'll see. All right, let's let this cure. Gonna move it over to my curing or my leveling table and see what we got in a bubble. Oh, that bubble. Okay. It's definitely ready. A little thicker than I would have normally made, I think. It's pliable but not sticky, which is what I wanted. I demolded it a little too soon last time and it was a little sticky. So this one is definitely demolding it at the right time. So this side is beautiful. The center did not close in as much as I would have wanted, but it's still really, really pretty. And I want to see what this, oh, look at that. Y'all, that is beautiful. Can you see that? Look at that. That is beautiful. That is a perfect bloom. That is perfect. I absolutely love that. Let's get the light over here. Oh yeah, so I'm thinking that, I don't know. I don't know if I want this to be the inside of the bowl. I don't know if I want this to be the inside of the bowl or this to be the inside of the bowl. I think I'm going to make this the inside. So I'm just going to put it down in here. I got it in the center. I'm going to smush it down. I'm not going to make fluted petals. I'm just going to use this as a, regular bowl. Center is wanting to pop up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover it with a piece of plastic, smooth it out, and then I'm just going to put a jug of paint right there in the middle, and that'll weigh the center down. So now I just probably going to wait overnight and come back. I want to demold these. I want to demold these. Oh my gosh. All right, which one's first? Doesn't much matter. I'm just gonna see what we got. Now this side is gorgeous. Wow. That is really pretty. That is really, really pretty. Very defined blooms, but then it's really lacy too. So that turned out really well. And I think I'm going to go ahead and demold all of them. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. See, either side, that's the thing about these coasters is that this method, the bloom method, the pour side is just as pretty as the bloom side. I don't really like the texture in these molds, like the flower texture. But that is really, really pretty. Really like that. A little dot. These are so pretty. Now, I probably could have gone ahead and added a back coat, like white, a top coat. back coated it, but maybe I'll do that on the next set. So there is these are our coasters. And so now we just need to wait on our bowl. But whoever buys these, they will have a two-sided coaster. Really pretty. So let's just wait overnight. Oh, I love it. Still a little bit bendy, a little bit thicker than I would have liked. But I'm loving the bloom. Absolutely loving the bloom. This is the pour side. Look how gorgeous that is. This is the pour side. And then this is the bloom side. So a little bit more white than the first one I did, the first hibiscus I did. But I'm really glad that I added more white at the top, because that really is what brought that bloom down into the center. I almost like the pour side better. Let's get these outside and show y'all a better picture. Oh my gosh, I love it.